Hello everyone, Mike Barnes here with Asheville Guitar, and today we're going to kind of look at some old gear, some old technology that still actually works in present times. This is a Variax Line 6 Variax Acoustic, right? So a Variax Acoustic has the ability of doing open tunings, has different modeled acoustic guitars, and I'm going to kind of go through all those different models with you. And you can get these for fairly cheap these days. I used it on a gig not too long ago, and it really turned out really well. As long as the volume's up loud enough to where you don't hear the acoustic sound, because when you go into open tuning and electronically, you'll still hear the natural sound of the standard tuning if you're playing at a real low volume. But if you're with a band or playing, in a group situation where the volume's loud with a drummer or something like that, works great, especially for live situations. So what we're going to do is kind of go through the sounds. And these settings, you have a little dial here that goes through the different samples of acoustic instruments. And then this fader closest to me is a compressor. This middle one is the volume, and then this one is a mic placement. So it's sampled different placements on the around the neck, and for different sounds, different mic placements to get different EQs, that type of thing. So you can use that kind of like an EQ. So the first one here that I've got on right now is a Parlor guitar, and it's modeled after based on a 1941 Martin 517, right? So here's kind of just the general sound of it in standard tuning. Right, I'll play a little bit with a pick here. Now, when you press the button in, you'll get a tuning of your choice. Now, I've set this one to a double drop D, so the two outside E strings go down a whole step to D, right? And so I'll cut the microphone off so you won't hear the acoustic sound, and I'll play a little sample of that. So that's double drop D. The two outside E's are down a whole step. The next guitar sampled is Triple O, and that's based off of a 1946 Martin 00028. So the 00028 is kind of like a smaller body than a Dreadnought. And here's the acoustic sound, or the natural sound, standard tuning. Now I can push the button, and I've got it set to, it's kind of a tuning that Joe Beck came up with. Now, Joe Beck he did an album with Jimmy Bruno, and this is the album right here, Polarity. And what he's done is he's tuned his guitar to where the low E goes down to a really low A, then the A string goes down to a D, the D string goes up to a G, and then the G string is a C, and the B is an E, and the E is an A. So it's A. If you have the opening tuning here, we get A, D, G, C, E, A. Right? So now that's up a fourth. So if you play a G major 7 here, that's really a C major 7, right? If I play this A minor 7, it's really a D minor 7. All right, and this is an E minor 7. You get some nice sonority of notes where you kind of almost piano voicings instead of guitar voicings, because you get more clusters in there. All right, if I play. That's nice for accompanying a vocalist or something, if you're doing a so the next one is going to be a Dreadnought style guitar, and the Dreadnought is modeled after 1960 Martin D21. So that's a bigger body guitar than the Triple O. There's the standard tuning sound. Now, what I've got this set. The open tuning is going to be Dadgad for this one. I'm going to cut the microphone off so you can just hear the sound of the electronic sound and not the acoustic sound. So that's Dadgad. And the next model we have is a Jumbo. So the Jumbo is modeled after a 1954 Gibson J45, right? So it's kind of a rounded shoulder Gibson, right? The open tuning, when you press the button on the Jumbo, I have it set to open E. Right now I've cut the mic off so you can hear just the electronic sound. So that's the Jumbo, which is modeled after a Gibson J45. The next one is C&W, which is really country and western, I think is what it's standing for, but it's actually modeled after a SJ200, the big body Gibson. This is just the natural standard tuning sound, little bigger body sound, you know. If I press the switch, I've got that tuned to open G. I'm going to cut the mic off so you can hear the electronic sound. Okay, so that was the C&W, which is actually a SJ200, modeled after that 1951 Gibson SG200. And the next one is kind of a Machiavelli Django style guitar, right? The Selmer Machiavelli. This is based on 1933. And of course, there's a big hump in the mid-range on these guitars. Because it cuts through. press the button in, I've got this one set to an open D. But if I go back, standard tuning. Now the next one is a kind of a jazz body guitar. It's modeled after a 1951 D'Angelico New Yorker, and it's kind of more of a big body, like L5 sound. Now when you press this button, I've got it set to where the E and the A strings go down an octave. So it's really nice to do kind of bossa nova style, where you're accompanying somebody with just a guitar, like a vocalist, you know. So you've got the bass register and the higher register for chording. So it's kind of nice to use. Then the next one is a nylon string. The nylon string is based off of a 1958 Manuel Velasquez model, with Brazilian rosewood back and sides, ebony fingerboard. Of course, it simulates that guitar, just like modeling amps do, you know. They simulate a real amp, but it's not the real thing. Nothing like the real thing, right? But anyway, this is great for live performance. So this is in standard tuning here. Well, so that's nylon string, and I'm going to go through the rest of them really quick. We've got a folk, the Folk 12. The Folk 12 is based on a 1973 Guild F412, and that's this sound. Next one is a Blues 12. The Blues 12 is based on a Stella Auditorium, 1935 Stella Auditorium. That's not quite as full as the previous one. I'll kind of give you another sample of the Folk 12. Here's the Folk 12. Here's the Blues 12. A little more of a mid-range hump in that one, I believe. Then we've got a round neck, which is kind of modeled after a 1939 National Resophonic Style O. So it's kind of a more of a resonator guitar. This is the steel body version, resonator guitar. Great for slide stuff, you know. Not sure what the open tuning. I'm going to set this one. Sounds like open G. All right. And the square neck. Next we have a banjo, right? And that's modeled after... Now, I forgot to mention, the square neck is modeled after a 1937 dobro. Model 27. So this one is the square neck right here. Now we have a banjo next. Right, so banjo sound. We got a mandola. It's almost kind of a 12-string sound, you know. A little more, you know, microtonal differences in the tuning. Kind of like a mandolin, you know, like a bass mandolin. Shamisen. Let's see, I forgot to mention the banjo's kind of inspired by Gibson Master Tone, which was introduced in 1925. The mandola is inspired by the mandolin family. It's kind of a little lower tuned 12 mandolin effect. And then the shamisen is this one. It's kind of a Japanese instrument. The next one, or last but not least, actually, is the last one that we're going to go through, is the sitar sound, right? So the sitar kind of mimics, it has the buzz bridge and resonating strings. So that's a sitar sound. I think I've gone through all the sounds. So this is a really great versatile guitar, acoustic style for different acoustic instruments, mainly guitar style instruments, acoustic instruments, and different samples of those, you know, Martins and Gibsons and Parlor guitars, and it makes it real easy to play live because you don't have any feedback problems at all. And you can immediately go to an open tuning instead of having to tune your tuners, you know. So anyway, I thought you might like to check that out. That's a Line 6 Variax Acoustic. Appreciate you watching, and please like and subscribe. Ring the bell to notify you of new videos. And thanks again. Peace and love. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.